Flower ninja art. Anime always finds a way to create bizarre and fascinating lands, and the studio really went all out by introducing the land of vegetables. Not only did they drop this salad-themed nation out of nowhere, they cooked up an entire fighting style unique to it. It's this insane combo of beauty and brutality, deadly shinobi techniques that literally weaponize flowers. 1. Many blooming flowers. This one starts off like a dream sequence. The user surrounds the target in a field of gorgeous blossoms, like you just walked into a painting. Then, boom, the flowers explode into blazing flames, crashing into the enemy like fireworks. It's basically Conan's explosive tags, except swap out the paper for petals. Gorgeous, flashy, and still blowing you to pieces. 2. Many releasing flowers. Now we're getting more dangerous. The user spreads flowers across the battlefield, but these aren't just flowers. They're living bombs. Each blossom can detonate on command, chaining into a minefield of explosions. You thought you were taking a nice stroll through a meadow? Nah, welcome to the world's deadliest garden. The best part is the stealth. Those flowers can sit around looking harmless until it's too late. 3. Mirror flower water. This one takes things into Genjutsu territory. The target gets swallowed up in a vortex of petals, and suddenly the entire space goes black. You're trapped inside a floral illusion, totally lost, unable to tell what's real. The flowers become the guide into the Genjutsu, and honestly, it's both beautiful and horrifying. 4. Falling blossoms and scattering leaves. And finally, the sharpest bouquet you'll ever meet. Here, the flowers transform into razor-sharp shuriken, spinning in midair like steel blades. It's basically a rainstorm of weaponized petals, looks romantic, feels like getting shredded by a blender. Compared to normal shuriken, this one wins on sheer numbers and pure surprise factor. So yeah, the flower ninja arts are proof that beauty in Naruto can absolutely kill you. Exploding flowers, bombing flowers, illusion flowers, shuriken flowers. It's deadly, it's flashy, and it's one of those filler ideas that honestly deserved more love. Casualty puppet. Alright, so Studio Pierrot decided Orochimaru wasn't already creepy enough, and they gave us the Casualty puppet. And man, this jutsu is nightmare fuel. Basically, the user absorbs part of a freshly dead body and grafts it onto themselves, turning the corpse into an extension of their own body. Not only is that gross as hell, but it also lets them tap into the jutsu of whoever they just absorbed. Yeah, you die, and now your killer gets to cosplay as you. But of course, there's a price. The technique twists both the body and the mind of the user, driving them unstable. Now, when you compare it to canon stuff, this thing feels like Kakuzu's 5 masks technique. Kakuzu straight up steals hearts from his victims, sticks them into masks, and uses their chakra natures like Pokemon cards. Both are about stealing power from the dead. But Kakuzu's method is stable. Dude controls 5 hearts at once without going insane. Casualty puppet? Nah, that one's unstable as hell. One body, one power, and your sanity's hanging by a thread. It also lines up with the Chimera technique from Haruko, another cursed Kenjutsu. Chimera lets you absorb living bodies, fuse them into yourself, and even snatch Kekkei Genkai like Storm, Dark, Steel, or Swift Release. That's complex. That's surgical. Casualty puppet is more direct. Grab a corpse, slap it on, boom, new ability. Not elegant, but definitely raw. At the end of the day, Orochimaru was probably like, yeah, this is cool and all, but why mess with body scraps when I can just hijack an entire healthy body instead? Which honestly, big brain move. Curse mandala. Now, another creepy old school jutsu you probably slept on, the curse mandala. This is an ancient, secretive technique passed down through only a handful of Fuma clan generations. And yeah, it's exactly as brutal as it sounds. Here's the deal. The user goes through a series of complex hand seals, and then they create a pyramid-shaped chakra cage around the victim. Once the user slowly brings their hands together, the cage contracts, gradually crushing anything trapped inside. This is prison-level horror, turning your target into prey with zero escape. Now for canon vibes. This thing screams a subtle nod to Dust Release by Onoki. Both manipulate 3D geometric shapes made of chakra, adjusting the size with the distance between their hands. But here's the kicker. Dust Release expands to wreak havoc on a wide area, basically a nuke. Curse Mandala is the exact opposite. Precision torture, squeezing down on a single unlucky target. If dust release is a cannon, curse mandala is a hydraulic press of doom. Imagine being locked in a transparent cage that slowly closes in on you, like a giant mousetrap. Meanwhile, the user just stands there, calmly bringing their hands together while you panic, trying to escape. Oh, and the stakes. To maintain the cage, the user must keep their hands in a triangle seal. One falter in willpower, or, if the opponent is too strong, the cage can collapse, triggering a massive energy explosion that obliterates the surroundings and even the user. The funny or horrifying part is that whoever's trapped at the center survives the blast. So yeah, mess it up and the jutsu eats you, not your target. Talk about a self-destruct feature with style. Crystal release, this is when anime elegance meets murder. Crystal release, or shotan, only shows up in the anime, and it's Gurren's signature playground of chaos. Picture this, a battlefield sparkling like a kaleidoscope of deadly crystals, and yeah, it's as beautiful as it is lethal. Here's how it works. Gurren can turn pretty much anything, earth, wood, even living creatures, into vibrant pink, jade, red, or blue crystal. Well, this is weaponized aesthetic perfection. Compare it to canon stuff, like ice release from Haku. Both manipulate the environment to create weapons. But ice release, water and ice only. Crystal release, anything that can crystallize will crystallize. We're talking total element domination. However, it can't crystallize raw chakra or energy, and if someone's smart or has high-frequency sound tech like Renji with bats, it can get shattered. Lightning release too, of course, is a natural counter. The insane part we have to mention is its versatility. You can make a crystal cage to trap an opponent, turn them into a living statue, or craft crystal-sharp weapons like shuriken. Want defense? Build a fortress out of crystal. Want to control the battlefield? Trap enemies by turning the ground beneath them into slippery, sharp crystal floors. Single-target assassination? Crystallize their cells in one punch, and they shatter into glittering pieces. Well, Hollywood death scene. Offsetting sound. This one comes from Menma. The blonde dude, rocking an ocarina, and when he starts playing, whole battlefield goes straight into WTF mode. Now here's the deal. Genjutsu in Naruto is already busted, right? But sound-based genjutsu is like hacking the system. Most illusions in Naruto need eye contact. Look at Itachi, look at Kurenai, or Sasuke with his Sharingan. But Menma just plays a couple notes and boom, you're trapped. No eye contact, no hand signs, just pure sound. And you know what? You literally can't block it. Throw up a wall, spam earth release, even hide behind Susanoo with Yada mirror. Sound doesn't care. It slips right through, crawls into your ears, and sucker punches your brain. You could build a fortress, and Menma's still gonna solo your mental health with a flute solo. And it's not just about trapping people either. Offsetting sound is a whole support package. Menma can cancel other powerful genjutsu, like the ones Sheen and his entire clan were rocking. He can buff his allies' speed and strength, keep his squad mentally sharp, and if that's not wild enough, he can literally wipe people's memories. Imagine standing in the middle of a battlefield, blades clashing everywhere, and Menma's just vibing on the ocarina. Next thing you know, your entire squad forgets why they were even fighting. Man turned war into a lo-fi study session. Now yeah, it's still filler, so it has never been touched again. Tragic. And sure, offsetting sound ain't exactly a nuke move. It's more support-based. It doesn't do direct damage. Menma himself is still vulnerable, and wind release can counter it. But even with all that, this technique proves that sound genjutsu is absolutely terrifying and criminally underused in the series. Kurama clan Kekkei Genkai. Alright, so we're all used to genjutsu being mind games, right? Like Itachi traps you in a genjutsu where the worst 3 seconds of hell feel like 72 hours. Or Kurenai tries to trick you with an illusion that gets insta-countered. That's cute. But the Kurama clan? They said, nah fam, let's make illusions that break your body in real life. This Kekkei Genkai is ridiculously rare, only showing up once every few generations, but when it does, it creates monsters. Yakumo Kurama is the poster child here. Her illusions were so powerful that if you got caught in one, your brain convinced your body the wounds were real. Burned, sliced, crushed, your body would literally manifest the damage until you died, all from something that technically didn't exist. That's not a normal genjutsu. That's a murder weapon. But like every Naruto power-up, there's a catch. The sheer weight of this power fractured Yakumo's psyche, giving her a dangerous alter ego she couldn't control. Untrained, A Kurama user isn't just deadly to enemies, they're a hazard to themselves and their allies. We're talking full-on monster transformation if they lose control. Now, comparing this to canon, Kurama Genjutsu puts most illusions to shame. It's not you see snakes, it's you feel your flesh melting off. And Yakumo went even crazier with it. At one point, she literally cast a genjutsu big enough to blanket the entirety of Konoha. That's right, village-wide illusion warfare. The only way to counter it is if you've got genjutsu of equal or greater caliber. And if you're an Aburame, congrats, your Kikaichu bugs are immune. Tiny chakra-eating cockroaches don't have nervous systems that can be tricked. So, as broken as this ability is, it has some niche counters. Yakumo's personal twist makes it even scarier. She could channel the illusions through her artwork. She'd paint something on a canvas, say a fire, a monster, or a storm. And then you would experience it in your body as if it were real. Genjutsu through art. It's like she's pulling horror movie scenes straight out of her sketchbook and making them kill you. Tactically, this Kekkei Genkai is the perfect assassination tool. No direct combat, no flashy signs of battle, just stand back, draw a picture, and your opponent keels over thinking their body's been torn apart. So yeah, if this power wasn't stuck in filler hell, the Kurama clan's Genjutsu could sit comfortably next to the Sharingan's Genjutsu in the franchise. Wooden Men Possession. Turnover Manipulation Technique. One of the strangest filler jutsu Naruto ever threw at us. The Wooden Men Possession Turnover Manipulation Technique. This jutsu belongs to Jino Ryuden Seigo, and the man basically turns every fight into a cursed puppet show. Here's how it works. Jino summons these creepy wooden dolls, and instead of fighting himself, he makes his victims do the work. Two unlucky souls get caught up, their movements linked to the puppets like they're avatars in some budget VR game. They think they're swinging at their enemy, but in reality, they're just beating the life out of their own teammate. Jino doesn't have to throw a single punch, he just sits back, sipping tea, while his enemies accidentally self-destruct. It's like forcing people into a chess game where you don't even know if the piece in front of you is your best friend or your worst enemy. Now, there are ways out, but they're not easy. If the victims move fast enough, the wooden proxies can't keep up, and that breaks the control. Or, if the two fighters know each other really well, they might recognize one another through fighting styles or subtle nonverbal cues, like some ninja Morse code. But let's be real, if you don't have lightning-fast speed or some next-level teamwork synergy, you're basically screwed. You're gonna end up deleting your own squad before you even realize what's happening. Yeah, it's filler, sure, but it's also one of the most nightmare-inducing jutsu in the series. Now, if we compare this wild filler move to the main canon, it honestly feels like a twisted cousin of Sasori's puppet technique. Except instead of controlling lifeless puppets, Jino's pulling the strings on actual people. This makes the Wooden Men Possession technique less about flashy attacks and more about psychological warfare. Stick your opponents in a closed environment, cut them off from their squad, and suddenly, you've weaponized paranoia. They can't tell who's real, who's fake, and they end up shredding their own allies. And if you think about it, this could have been developed into a kind of physical genjutsu. Not the usual chakra-based illusions, but straight-up manipulation of the environment and situation to break teams apart. Unless you're someone built like Rock Lee or Might Guy, those taijutsu monsters who just blitz through everything, this jutsu could dismantle an entire squad. Ranmaru's Kekkei Genkai. Now, let's talk about one of the craziest anime-only power-ups that never made it to canon. Ranmaru's Kekkei Genkai. This kid from the Hidden Mist was sickly, frail, and basically bedridden his whole life. But when those eyes lit up glowing red, bro had a dojutsu that could straight-up rival, and in some ways outclass, the Byakugan, and even the Sharingan in some ways. This is what happens when filler goes off the rails, in the best way possible. Here's the breakdown. Both Ranmaru's eyes and the Byakugan let you see through obstacles and sense chakra from a distance. But the Byakugan is all about 360-degree vision and chakra network detection. Ranmaru with his dojutsu takes it further. He can hear and see events from an unknown range, detect the life force of enemies, not just chakra, and basically predict their next moves. He can even tell who's alive without needing chakra activity as proof. That's already crazy, but it gets better. Ranmaru can shut down Byakugan vision entirely, and even break genjutsu. That's a flex Hyuga could never pull. And when it comes to genjutsu, Sharingan users need eye contact to trap you. Ranmaru? Nah, he can manipulate from a distance. His tricks include spreading red mist that hides chakra signatures, or faking multiple chakra trails to throw even Byakugan users completely off. Tactically, he's a walking cheat code. He can eavesdrop from far away, gather intel, disguise himself from other dojutsu, and, get this, he can transfer his life force to heal dying allies. Literal revive button in ninja form. The only catch is that his body's fragile as hell. That's why pairing him with a brute like Raiga made perfect sense. Raiga did the smashing. Ranmaru played the mastermind in the shadows. Imagine playing a video game with unlimited cheats, invisible to Byakugan, can cancel Sharingan Genjutsu, can heal teammates, and predict movements. If this dojutsu wasn't filler only, it could have stood shoulder to shoulder with the Sharingan and Byakugan as one of the big three of Naruto's eye powers. Yeah, I'm not talking about Rinnegan here. Mysterious Peacock Method. This is where Naruto filler decided to stop being subtle and just said, what if ninjas had chakra peacock feathers shooting out their backs? Welcome to Hoshigakure's signature move, the Mysterious Peacock Method. This thing is fueled by radiation from a meteorite that crashed in the Bear Country like 200 years ago. Yeah, cosmic ninjutsu. The technique creates a fan of chakra feathers behind the user, and those feathers can morph into literally anything. Beasts, ropes, even dragons. This is one of the most versatile jutsu in the entire series, and it looks gorgeous while killing you. But here's the catch. Training with this star chakra absolutely wrecks your body. We're talking long-term poisoning, your life force drained, maybe even death. Most users of the method, Hotarubi, for example, paid the ultimate price. Only Natsuhi was ever noted to escape the side effects. Now, if you want to compare it to canon, the closest flex is the Jinchuriki chakra mode. Naruto with Kurama, Killer Bee with Gyuki, you know the deal. A cloaked form powered by an external source of chakra that boosts everything. Speed, strength, regeneration. The difference is that Jinchuriki modes are way sturdier. Version 2 or full-tailed beast mode can literally terraform battlefields. Meanwhile, the Peacock method trades raw durability for insane creativity. You can fly short distances with chakra wings, sculpt energy ropes, beasts, or projectiles, and shift instantly between offense and defense. It's like the difference between a tank and a Swiss Army knife. And the sub-abilities? Absolute heat. We got Chakra Beast, manifest constructs strong enough to block weapons and crush enemies. Chakra Rope, unbreakable bindings that trap opponents. Good luck cutting your way out. Dragon, Akahoshi's favorite, blasting destructive chakra beams like a Jinchuriki shockwave. Chakra Predation, literally draining chakra from your comrades to amp yourself mid-fight. And let's not forget the Ghost form, where users basically keep fighting as spectral chakra phantoms even after death. Tell me that's not nightmare fuel. Strategically, this is a filler jutsu that can do it all. Suppress enemies, zone with projectiles, hard counter mobility with ropes, even pseudo-flight. The only thing holding it back is the radiation poisoning that slowly eats you alive. If that drawback didn't exist, even Jinchuriki would have to respect a Hoshigakure ninja running this move. Mysterious Peacock Method is the perfect example of filler going all-out creative, beautiful, terrifying, and absolutely busted if it weren't suicidal. Fury. Now, this one's about one of the scariest kenjutsu the anime ever threw at us. So, here's the deal. This nightmare bomb was created by En no Gyoja and literally grafted onto the back of his granddaughter, Hotaru. It's basically a chakra warhead. One detonation and an entire village is dust. We're talking city-level destruction in a single blast. The thing is powered by the Tsuchigumo style, Forbidden Life technique release, which means it needs a disgustingly massive amount of chakra just to charge up. That's why Fury is less of a casual jutsu and more of a weapon of mass destruction hidden in the Naruto universe. Power-wise, it's sitting in the same league as Deidara's C3 clay bomb, the one meant to flatten a whole city. But here's the difference. Deidara's explosives, or even Conan's paper bomb nuke, can be dropped instantly in battle. Fury? Nah, you gotta babysit that thing while it charges up. And if someone with chakra absorption shows up, like Uchiha with his tailed beast mode, you're done. The whole thing fizzles out. Strategically, Fury is insane. It's not meant for 1 versus 1s. It's a last resort all-in weapon, perfect for wiping out an enemy base or taking out an entire army. but you need a whole squad dedicated to protecting the user. Like, imagine having to bodyguard Hotaru while she's charging this thing. If anyone breaks through, if anyone with speed on Minato's level shows up, game over. And because this thing was literally stitched into Hotaru's back, she became a walking target for every opportunistic shinobi in the world. The technique was so dangerous that the third Hokage himself stepped in. He literally made a deal. We'll mark this as a forbidden jutsu and protect the Tsuchigumo clan. Just don't unleash this monster on the world. That's how terrifying Fury was. It forced the Hokage to make a peace treaty just to keep it under wraps. 10. Fugaku Uchiha. Fugaku Uchiha, the father of Itachi and Sasuke, was the leader of the Uchiha clan during a turbulent time in Konoha's history. He was once considered a strong candidate for the fourth Hokage. His authority within the clan and village reflects a level of strength not easily matched. Fugaku was a skilled shinobi who achieved the Mangekyo Sharingan in secret. This detail, only revealed in supplementary materials, adds significant weight to his strength. The ability to awaken the Mangekyo suggests that Fugaku experienced deep emotional trauma and possessed high chakra control. While his specific Mangekyo technique remains unknown, the fact that he kept it hidden may point to either a powerful offensive ability or a genjutsu-based technique. He was proficient in fire release techniques, a signature style of the Uchiha, and demonstrated strong tactical awareness. His leadership of the Konoha military police showed not just bureaucratic command, but also battlefield experience. Databook records confirm him as a high-ranking shinobi capable of using advanced Sharingan abilities like motion prediction and mind manipulation. Fugaku's political strategies also revealed his sharp intellect. He was involved in planning a rebellion against Konoha in response to the village's treatment of the Uchiha, carefully analyzing the risk and positioning. His son Itachi, one of the most analytical characters in the series, respected his father's power but chose not to fight him, possibly due to the threat Fugaku posed even to him. Fugaku ranks 10th due to the lack of direct battle scenes. However, his hidden Mangekyo Sharingan, leadership qualities, and databook confirmations secure him a spot in the top 10. His strength remains mostly theoretical, but well supported by lore and reputation within the village and clan. 9. Izuna Uchiha. Izuna Uchiha, the younger brother of Madara, was one of the most formidable Uchiha during the Warring States era. He fought side by side with Madara in battles against the Senju clan. His rivalry with Tobirama Senju played a key role in shaping the early shinobi world. Izuna was among the first Uchiha to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. Alongside Madara, he brought fear and dominance to the battlefield during the clan wars. His Mangekyo ability was never revealed, but he was said to be on par with Madara in their youth. This implies access to powerful genjutsu, heightened perception, and possibly Susanoo. He was a master of kenjutsu, utilizing a sword in combination with his visual prowess. This made him deadly in close-quarters combat. Izuna also demonstrated high-level fire release techniques, typical of his clan. These abilities, combined with genjutsu proficiency, allowed him to dominate many opponents. The databooks state that he was almost unbeatable in one-on-one combat, only falling to Tobirama's Flying Thunder God technique. His death marked a turning point for Madara, who later used Izuna's eyes to obtain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. This indicates the emotional depth of their bond, and also confirms Izuna's genetic compatibility and chakra strength. The implications of his death stretched far beyond the battlefield, altering the balance of power between the Uchiha and Senju. Izuna ranks 9th due to his close match with Madara in youth and his role in early Uchiha dominance. However, the lack of information about his exact abilities and his early death limit a full evaluation of his power. His legacy remains influential but not fully explored. 8. Shin Uchiha. Shin Uchiha was a genetically modified experiment of Orochimaru, who claimed the Uchiha name. Though not part of the actual bloodline, he wielded a dangerous number of Sharingan eyes embedded across his body. His scientific enhancements gave him an edge over many traditional shinobi, even those with pure lineage. Shin's body was enhanced to withstand the stress of using multiple Sharingan. Unlike true Uchiha, he could activate and use dozens of Sharingan simultaneously without suffering fatigue. This gave him access to a wide range of visual powers, especially through Mangekyo Sharingan, that allowed him to manipulate weapons via telekinesis. His most notable ability was the use of magnetized weapon control, allowing him to launch and recall blades with precision, using the eyes implanted across his body. This ability granted him full control of the battlefield. His strategic use of clones, who were genetically identical to him and shared the same abilities, gave him added versatility in extended combat. Shin was also skilled in medical ninjutsu. He could perform surgery on himself and recover from injuries quickly. This self-sufficiency made him difficult to eliminate. During his battle against Naruto and Sasuke, he used his Sharingan enhanced perception to anticipate movements and maintain pressure, forcing even the strongest shinobi to respond cautiously. Despite his physical advantages, Shin lacked the emotional drive that characterizes many powerful Uchiha. His power came from experimentation, not heritage or experience, which limited his tactical flexibility and depth in battle. Shin ranks 8th due to his large number of Sharingan, modified body, and advanced battlefield control. However, his lack of natural evolution, emotional intuition, and authentic Uchiha lineage prevent him from reaching higher ranks. His power was impressive, but lacked the spiritual depth seen in traditional Uchiha fighters. 7. Shisui Uchiha. Shisui Uchiha, known as Shisui of the Body Flicker, was a prodigy of the Uchiha clan and a close friend of Itachi. He was widely respected for his unwavering loyalty to Konoha and his unmatched speed in combat. His role in preventing civil war shaped key political events in the village. Shisui awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and gained access to one of the most powerful genjutsu in the Naruto universe, Kotoa Matsukami. This technique allowed him to enter a person's mind and alter their thoughts and decisions without them ever realizing it. It had a long cooldown period, but its subtlety and impact made it nearly impossible to counter. He was also known for his mastery of the body flicker technique. This allowed him to move so quickly that enemies couldn't track his movements. Combined with his Sharingan's perception, Shisui could avoid incoming attacks while delivering precise counters. His high-level fire release skills made him effective at mid-range combat, while his genjutsu allowed for crowd control and subversion. Shisui was the youngest Uchiha to join the ANBU Black Ops. He surpassed many Junin before the age of 12. His tactical instincts and leadership were demonstrated during his attempt to stop the Uchiha coup. He planned to use Kotoa Matsukami on the clan leaders to defuse the conflict without violence. Shisui also possessed Susanoo, though its full form was not shown. Databooks confirm that his Susanoo had excellent speed and power, aligning with his overall combat profile. Shisui ranks 7th due to the exceptional utility of Kotoa Matsukami and his elite-level skills. However, his early death limited his development. With few confirmed battle feats and limited exposure of his full arsenal, he remains just outside the top 6, despite his strategic importance and potential. 6. Indra Otsutsuki. Indra Otsutsuki, the elder son of Hagoromo, was the first person to awaken the Sharingan and later the Mangekyo Sharingan. As the spiritual ancestor of the Uchiha clan, Indra shaped the foundation of the clan's abilities and ideology. His rivalry with Asura marked the origin of shinobi conflict. Indra possessed immense chakra reserves inherited from his father, the Sage of Six Paths. This allowed him to invent and master various ninjutsu techniques. He was the first to awaken both the Sharingan and Mangekyo Sharingan, giving him access to advanced perception, genjutsu, and possibly unique Mangekyo abilities. Indra's Susanoo was complete and fully developed, capable of flight and powerful ranged attacks. This form is considered one of the earliest and most refined versions of Susanoo, offering both defense and destructive capabilities. His Susanoo was comparable in size and strength to those used by later Uchiha such as Madara and Sasuke. Indra also demonstrated high-level control over elemental ninjutsu and battlefield tactics. He frequently clashed with Asura, who later became the ancestor of the Senju. Their battles were large-scale, and Indra's abilities were seen as nearly godlike. Though these fights are partially mythological, they remain critical to the lore. His genjutsu was likely advanced, considering his Mangekyo Sharingan, and he was said to control his opponent's actions and perceptions during battle. While the specifics of his abilities are scarce, his influence is seen in nearly every Uchiha technique that followed. Indra ranks 6th due to his legendary chakra, foundational abilities, and the early evolution of Uchiha powers. However, his limited screen time and lack of concrete battle records place him below those with more defined feats. As a mythical figure, his legacy is immense, but not fully detailed in combat terms. 5. Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha was a genius shinobi who made sacrifices for the sake of peace. As a former ANBU captain and the elder brother of Sasuke, his actions influenced major events in the series. He possessed both immense talent and strategic intellect, making him one of the most respected Uchiha ever. Itachi awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and gained access to 3 unique and powerful techniques. Tsukuyomi allowed him to trap targets in a genjutsu where he could manipulate time and space, causing psychological damage in seconds. Amaterasu summoned black flames that burned anything in their path and could not be extinguished by conventional means. His Susanoo was among the most refined in the series. It wielded 2 unique spiritual tools, the Totsuka Blade, which sealed enemies in a genjutsu upon contact, and the Yata Mirror, which blocked all forms of physical and elemental attacks. These tools provided Itachi with both offensive and defensive dominance. Despite suffering from a terminal illness, Itachi performed at an elite level throughout his appearances. He defeated multiple high-level shinobi and operated under extreme conditions. His strategic thinking allowed him to plan several moves ahead, manipulate opponents, and end fights with minimal conflict. He was also highly proficient in fire release techniques, shadow clones, and genjutsu, unrelated to his Mangekyo. As a member of the Akatsuki, he played a critical role in maintaining the organization's internal balance. His final battle against Sasuke was choreographed to pass on his legacy rather than to kill, showcasing his long-term planning and control. Itachi ranks 5th for his versatile Mangekyo abilities, tactical genius, and impact on major events. However, his physical limitations and lack of large-scale feats prevent him from breaking into the top 4. His power was precise and efficient, but lacked the mythical scope of those ranked above. 4. Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha began as a weak and emotional ninja, but his transformation after the tragedy at Kanabi Bridge turned him into one of the most dangerous antagonists in Naruto. His journey from a loyal Konoha shinobi to the Ten Tails Jinchuriki reshaped the fate of the entire ninja world. Obito possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan with Kamui, one of the most effective space-time techniques. Kamui allowed him to phase through attacks and teleport instantly. This ability made him untouchable untouchable during most battles and gave him full control of combat pacing. He used Kamui to infiltrate villages, avoid damage, and eliminate targets without detection. As the masked figure known as Tobi, he manipulated major events from the shadows. He controlled the Nine Tails and led the Akatsuki under a false identity. In combat, Obito displayed mastery over all 5 chakra natures and advanced fire release techniques. His genjutsu and physical combat skills were amplified by zetsu-based body enhancements, increasing his resilience and healing. After becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, Obito's abilities reached near God tier. He accessed truth-seeking orbs, nullifying almost all ninjutsu. His power rivaled Hashirama and even challenged the combined strength of Naruto and Sasuke. He used chakra rods for battlefield control and created barriers strong enough to withstand tailed beast attacks. Despite his strength, Obito's emotions often clouded his decisions. His identity crisis and personal guilt weakened his resolve at crucial moments. Still, his raw power and tactical use of Kamui left lasting consequences on every battlefield he touched. Obito ranks 4th for mastering Kamui and reaching Ten Tails Jinchuriki status. However, his inconsistent mindset and emotional instability limited his performance against top-tier threats. His abilities were overwhelming, but his control and purpose fluctuated, placing him just below the top 3 Uchiha. 3. Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha, the last surviving Uchiha of Konoha, evolved from a vengeful child into a shinobi of near-divine strength. As the second protagonist of the series, his growth parallels Naruto's, and his eventual mastery of powerful visual jutsu solidifies his legacy as one of the strongest Uchiha ever. Sasuke possessed the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which removed the blindness drawback of standard Mangekyo. This allowed him to use techniques like Amaterasu and advanced Susanoo without strain. His Sharingan also gave him unparalleled battlefield awareness, enhancing his reflexes and counterplay. After receiving Hagoromo's power, Sasuke awakened the Rinnegan in his left eye. This Rinnegan granted him access to space-time abilities, including Amino Tejikara, a teleportation swap technique used both defensively and offensively. He could also use Chibaku Tensei to trap tailed beasts, and wield Paths of the Six Paths technique for control and support. His Susanoo reached a complete form and could combine with the chakra of tailed beasts, making it an armored entity with immense destructive power. Sasuke also mastered lightning release techniques like Chidori and its variants, integrating them with his ocular powers for powerful close-range attacks. Sasuke demonstrated large-scale capabilities during the Fourth Great Ninja War, and later during battles against Momoshiki and other Otsutsuki-level threats. His ability to analyze enemy patterns, adapt mid-fight, and exploit openings made him lethal in solo or team combat. Even after losing his Rinnegan in Boruto, his tactical mastery, Mangekyo Sharingan, and wide array of jutsu kept him relevant at the highest level. Sasuke ranks 3rd for his complete mastery of Eternal Mangekyo, Rinnegan, and Six Paths power. His versatility, combat intelligence, and tailed beast-level chakra put him above most shinobi. However, compared to the top 2, his scale and influence fall slightly short in terms of historical dominance and godlike reach. 2. Sarada Uchiha. Sarada Uchiha, daughter of Sasuke and Sakura, represents the next generation of Uchiha. Her ambition to become Hokage sets her apart as both a symbol of legacy and progress. As a young shinobi in Boruto, she has shown rapid growth and awakened powers that rival the strongest of her clan. Sarada awakened her Mangekyo Sharingan after the emotional shock of Naruto's apparent death and Boruto being hunted by the Hidden Leaf. Her Mangekyo design resembles a radiant sun, possibly referencing Amaterasu, and marks the beginning of her access to high-level ocular abilities. Her most defining technique is ohirumi, a space-time ninjutsu capable of generating gravitational black orbs. Ohirume operates as both an offensive and defensive technique. It allows Sarada to create singularities that draw in and crush surrounding matter, effectively nullifying enemy attacks or immobilizing high-speed targets. In Boruto, 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 21, she used this ability to absorb and destroy Iron Sand controlled by Ryu, a Shinju-level enemy with Otsutsuki tier power. This confirmed her ability to fight at KJ level and beyond. The technique, however, has physical drawbacks. Its usage causes severe chakra depletion, leading to Sarada collapsing post-battle. Notably, only her right eye exhibited strain and bleeding, implying the existence of another Mangekyo technique in her left eye that remains hidden. The symbolism of her Mangekyo may suggest a connection to other flame-based Uchiha abilities. Sarada is also immune to the effects of Ida's omnipotence, a unique trait that elevates her narrative importance. Her chakra control and physical strength inherited from Sakura complement her ocular powers, making her a rare hybrid of tactical and brute force potential. Sarada ranks second for unlocking an advanced Mangekyo technique, demonstrating elite combat instincts, and playing a pivotal role in Boruto's new era. Although she has yet to reach full mastery, her power curve and unique immunity to omnipotence position her just below Madara in terms of future potential and tactical threat. 1. Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha, known as the Ghost of the Uchiha, stood as the most iconic figure in the clan's history. As Hashirama Senju's rival and the main threat during the Fourth Great Ninja War, Madara shaped the foundation of the shinobi world with both ideology and overwhelming strength. Madara possessed the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, granting him a perfect Susanoo and access to techniques like massive-scale Genjutsu and elemental control. His Susanoo rivaled mountain-sized tailed beasts and could destroy landscapes with a single swing. He later awakened the Rinnegan, unlocking the 6 paths techniques, including Preta-path absorption and Chibaku Tensei. He became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki after manipulating events leading to the war. As Jinchuriki, Madara gained access to truth-seeking orbs and achieved flight, healing, and regeneration. He could manipulate terrain, summon meteors, and overpower entire divisions of the allied shinobi forces. His chakra reserves rivaled that of the Sage of 6 Paths. Madara cast the infinite Tsukuyomi using the moon, trapping the world in a genjutsu dream. This large-scale jutsu marked him as one of the few characters capable of global impact. He could also create shadow clones of himself, each powerful enough to defeat elite shinobi individually. His mastery of combat, politics, and ideology set him apart. He influenced future generations and directly caused the birth of characters like Obito and events like Project Tsuki no Mi. Despite being revived artificially, he outclassed entire armies alone. Madara ranks first for reaching the peak of power through his own evolution, controlling the battlefield on a global scale, and reshaping the shinobi world. His complete command over both ocular and physical abilities, combined with overwhelming force and strategic mind, places him above every other Uchiha in history. All right. Today, we're talking about the top 10 strongest elemental jutsu in Naruto. But here's the thing. If we just picked the 10 most powerful jutsu overall, lightning release would take over the whole list. Like, seriously, lightning is crazy OP. And honestly, where's the fun in that? So instead, I'm picking 2 jutsu from each elemental style. That way, it's way more balanced and a whole lot more interesting. And to kick things off, let's start with the flashiest and most explosive element out there, fire release. When it comes to fire-style jutsu that are literally insane, Great Fire Annihilation is easily the most terrifying technique in the entire Naruto world. This jutsu is basically the Uchiha clan's ultimate fire technique. It turns the user's chakra into a massive sea of flames that can totally engulf an entire battlefield. Its strength comes from just how ridiculously huge it is. See, when Madara Uchiha uses this jutsu, the entire shinobi alliance has to team up with dozens of water release users just to block it. Unlike regular fire-style jutsu, which usually hit a single target or a small group, Great Fire Annihilation spreads out so wide that dodging it is impossible. Of course, it takes a huge amount of chakra to pull off, so only top-tier shinobi like Madara can really use it effectively. But once it's unleashed, this jutsu can instantly flip the tide of battle. When that firestorm hits the field, enemies are forced to stop attacking and focus completely on defense, giving the user a huge tactical advantage. Amaterasu. If Great Fire Annihilation dominates with its insane size, then Amaterasu wins hearts with its totally unique nature and absolutely deadly damage. These black flames burn as hot as the sun, and once they hit something, they'll literally keep burning until there's nothing left but ashes. They even burn through regular fire. Yeah, it's that insane. But what really makes Amaterasu so terrifying is how it works. The flames appear instantly wherever the user is looking. When Sasuke used it on Killer Bee, it burned straight through the Eight Tails chakra cloak. That alone proves how insanely powerful it is at piercing defenses. And it's not just a simple fireball. These flames can be reshaped into things like arrows, spikes, or even a flaming armor for defense. But yeah, there's a major catch. Amaterasu is a Mangekyo Sharingan jutsu, which means it seriously strains the user's eyes, to the point of eye-bleeding pain. Only Itachi and Sasuke have been shown to use it properly, which tells you just how rare and difficult it is to master. Now, to be honest, both Great Fire Annihilation and Amaterasu are way above your average fire release jutsu. Let's not kid ourselves. Most fire-style jutsu, they look cool, sure, but they're not exactly known for being practical in battle. Usually, they're small, not super flexible, and just shoot out in a straight line from the user's mouth. The only way to make them useful is by combining them with stuff like shuriken, wire, or other tools. But Great Fire Annihilation just skips all that. Instead of being precise, it goes full-on destruction mode, scaling the flames up hundreds of times, covering a huge area. It's like, why aim when you can burn the whole map? And unless you're Kisame, Tobirama, or happen to have like 10 water release users on your team, you're just gonna get cooked. Small water-style jutsu? They're gonna evaporate instantly. Simple as that. Honestly, comparing regular fire jutsu to these two is like putting a birthday candle next to a raging forest fire. Now, Amaterasu works in a similar way. It just burns everything, no questions asked. It even burned off one of the Raikage's arms. But it's still my number 2 pick, because despite all the hype, those flames can be sealed, absorbed, or even pushed away. And yeah, somehow it couldn't burn through Kabuto's 2 mud walls, which is just weird. Alright, that wraps up fire release. Now let's move to the element that totally counters fire, water release. Before we move on, we want to take a moment to thank you. Our channel just crossed 15,000 subscribers, a milestone we couldn't have reached without your support. We're now setting our sights on 25,000, and every like, comment, and subscription brings us closer. Your support is not only numbers, it's what drives us to keep creating deeper, sharper, and more exciting anime breakdowns. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us on the road ahead. Let's grow this journey together. Now, Water Prison Shark Dance Technique. This jutsu from Kasame Hoshigaki is absolutely one of the strongest water release techniques in the entire series. When Kasame used it against Killer Bee, he turned an entire forest into a massive underwater battlefield, like a straight-up mini ocean. Even Killer Bee, with all the raw power of the Eight Tails, was seriously struggling to escape this water prison. Now here's why it's so scary. It's like the original water prison jutsu, but scaled up thousands of times. And instead of standing outside the prison, like in the old version, Kisame is at the center of it, swimming freely while you're stuck trying not to drown. This jutsu literally changes the rules of the fight. The enemy is forced to battle underwater, where their speed drops, their jutsu are limited, and let's be honest, Kisame is basically a shark man in that environment. Basically, once you're trapped, you're just a background extra in a horror movie about getting hunted by a sea monster. Great shark bullet technique. While water prison shark dance wins with scale, Great Shark Bullet is all about brutal counterattacks. Kisame summons a giant water shark that can absorb chakra from its target, and then uses that stolen chakra to power itself up. The more powerful the enemy's attack, the stronger the shark becomes. So if you throw a Rasengan or any chakra-based jutsu at it, the shark eats it, grows bigger, and comes back at you even harder. It's a completely unfair power loop. The more you fight back, the worse it gets. The shark's speed is also seriously impressive. Once Kisame launches it, it rushes toward the target at crazy fast speeds. But there's one downside. It's not very effective against taijutsu users like Guy, who don't use chakra-based attacks. No chakra means nothing to absorb. Compared to other water-release jutsu, Kisame's two techniques are clearly next level. They're like rare gems in a pile of rocks. And yeah, I know some people will bring up water dragon jutsu. Sure, it looks cool, big fancy water dragon and all, but let's be real, it's just a regular attack, and you have to perform 44 hand signs just to summon it. That's not ideal when the fight is moving at high speed. Kisame didn't earn the nickname Monster of the Hidden Mist for nothing. These two jutsu prove that he wasn't just strong, he was strategic. His techniques don't just hit hard, they control the entire fight. And yeah, sadly we didn't get to see Tobirama flex his water style all that much. So for this list, Kisame is the undisputed water release king. Alright, let's switch to the wind release. Rasen Shuriken. Rasen Shuriken is Naruto Uzumaki's absolute masterpiece. A genius combo of the Rasengan's spiraling power and the razor-sharp nature of wind. When it hits, it explodes into a massive storm filled with millions of tiny wind blades, all spinning at insane speed. The size of the explosion can be totally adjusted. Naruto can make it small and precise, or big enough to wipe out a huge area. What makes this jutsu literally terrifying is how it works. It deals damage at the cellular level. Yeah, it cuts up the enemy's chakra network from the inside, destroying their ability to use jutsu permanently. It's like a deadly poison that eats away your chakra system, and no healing jutsu can fix that. During his fight with Pain, Naruto used Rasen Shuriken to completely obliterate the human path in a single hit. And keep in mind, Pain had the Rinnegan and still couldn't dodge it. That's how fast and unpredictable this jutsu is. Naruto can also change its size, throw multiple Rasen Shuriken at once, and even power it up using Sage Mode. When thrown, it moves at crazy speed, turning it into a deadly long-range weapon. Bottom line, one hit, one kill. Huge damage, huge range. Can be spammed. The only real weakness? Well, if you're not Naruto, yeah, that's it. Honestly, there's no other wind release jutsu that even comes close to this one. Wind release, Great Cast Net. Now, if I had to pick a second wind style jutsu, I'd go with Great Cast Net. This jutsu creates a giant web of wind blades, like a deadly spider web. These blades are sharp enough to slice through rock, wood, even metal. It doesn't hit at the cellular level like Rasen Shuriken, but that's not the point. Great Cast Net is built for wide area control. It hits multiple enemies at once, making it perfect for chaotic battles. The strongest thing about this jutsu? Total battlefield control. Once the enemy is caught in the net, they're surrounded by wind blades from every direction. Dodging becomes almost impossible because moving in any direction might get you sliced. It creates danger zones across the field, forcing enemies to move exactly how you want. That gives the user a huge tactical advantage, especially in large-scale fights. And when multiple wind-style users team up to cast it, it becomes massive, turning the entire battlefield into a giant wind blade maze. It's the kind of jutsu that can totally overwhelm squads of enemies. Fun fact, this one's from the Sand Village. Now yeah, I know some people are gonna say I left out Danzo. And sure, his wind release is solid, but let's be real, we only really saw him fight once in the manga, during his battle with Sasuke. And even then, a lot of his power came from Baku, the summoning beast that boosted his wind jutsu. Without that, his techniques were kinda average. Not bad, but definitely not enough to make the top 2 in my list. What do you think? What wind-style jutsu would you put at the second spot? Now, both Rasen Shuriken and Great Castnet have one big thing in common. They can totally flip the flow of battle. Rasen Shuriken is all about pure destruction. Great Castnet is about controlling space and movement. Two totally different styles, but both game changers in their own right. Now let's move on to the strongest and most brutal element, lightning release. Kirin. Kirin is one of Sasuke Uchiha's ultimate techniques, a jutsu that uses the power of natural lightning to deliver a totally destructive strike. What makes it so special? It doesn't even rely on the user's chakra. Instead, it harnesses the lightning in the sky and turns it into a giant weapon of pure destruction. Kirin is crazy strong. Like, it can literally blow up a whole mountain in a single attack. That's the raw power of Mother Nature, people. And the speed? Absolutely insane. Kirin hits with the speed of natural lightning. We're talking 1/1000th of a second. Even Itachi, with his super fast reflexes and Sharingan, barely survived. And only because he had Susanoo to protect him. There's no dodging this jutsu. Once it's coming down, you're already done. But Sasuke doesn't just summon lightning out of nowhere. He's smart with it. He uses Amaterasu to heat the air and create storm clouds, even when there's no storm around. Once the sky's ready, he uses just a little bit of chakra to guide the lightning, like saying, "Right here, hit this spot." It costs him almost no chakra, but it deals massive damage. That's why it doesn't drain him like other big jutsu. Now, of course, there's a catch. Kirin needs thunderclouds. If there's no storm, Sasuke has to make one, and that takes time. Plus, it's usually a one-time move per battle, because the clouds get dispersed after the strike. Still, when the setup is complete, nothing else in lightning release can match Kirin's destructive power. It's that one-hit KO move that can totally end a fight on the spot. Lightning release chakra mode. Now let's talk about the opposite kind of lightning jutsu, the lightning release chakra mode. This is the signature power-up of the Raikage. It surrounds the user's entire body with lightning chakra, boosting their speed, strength, and defense all at once. It's like turning into a walking thunderstorm, literally. The biggest flex of this mode is speed. The fourth Raikage was so fast in this form that even the Sharingan couldn't keep up. During his fight with Sasuke, he was just constantly dominating, dashing around like the Flash. Only Minato was faster, but let's be honest, Minato had space-time jutsu, which is a whole different level. That speed isn't just good for attacking, it's also amazing for defense. When you move that fast, most enemies can't even land a hit. The Raikage could appear anywhere on the battlefield in an instant, constantly putting pressure on his opponent. And with the lightning armor boosting his physical attacks, his lariat could have literally killed Sasuke if Susanoo hadn't been there. That armor is so strong, even a powerful move like Chidori can only scratch it. This mode turns the user into an absolute beast in close combat. Once mastered, it makes you almost unbeatable in taijutsu. Unlike Kirin, which is all about one big finishing move, Lightning Chakra mode is made for extended fights, letting the user stay fast, strong, and deadly for as long as they've got chakra. The only downside, it uses chakra non-stop. If the battle drags on too long, the user can get worn out. So yeah, it works best for ninja with great stamina and huge chakra reserves, like the Raikage. Kirin and Lightning Release Chakra mode show two totally different sides of lightning release. Kirin is all about massive destruction, One huge hit that can decide the whole fight. Meanwhile, lightning mode is all about speed, flexibility, and control, keeping you dangerous the entire battle. They both totally dominate, just in very different ways. And yeah, I know some of y'all are probably thinking about Indra's arrow right now. It's strong for sure, but let's be real. To use it, you need Rinnegan, 6 Paths Chakra, Full Body Susanoo, and Chakra from all the tailed beasts. Even Sasuke couldn't use it more than once. So, no, we're not putting it on this list. Alright, it's time for the final element, Earth Release. Weight manipulation techniques. Weight manipulation includes 2 powerful jutsu, Ultra Added Weight Rock Technique and Ultralight Weight Rock Technique. But honestly, they're both about the same thing, controlling the weight of anything. So let's just group them together. These jutsu let you change the weight of any object, however you want. It opens up a whole new way to fight that goes way beyond regular taijutsu or elemental attacks. Ultra Added Weight Rock Technique lets you make anything super heavy. Onoki used it to increase his enemy's weight so much that they were completely unable to move. It's not just about slowing them down. We're talking crushing spine, burying them into the ground, total shutdown levels of pressure. Ultralight Weight Rock Technique. Now flip that around, and you get the lightweight version. Onoki can make massive objects float like feathers. This dude literally— imagine a mountain floating in the sky like a balloon. At one point, he even used it to fly straight into a meteor to block it. Yeah, he punched a meteor. That's anime physics-breaking power right there. Onoki uses this ability for both offense and defense. He lightens himself to fly and dodge ground attacks. Then he makes his enemies super heavy so they can't chase him. He also lightened Gaara and himself to move faster during the fight with Madara. It's honestly such a smart and flexible jutsu, perfect for someone who fights with strategy, not just brute force. Of course, there are drawbacks. This technique uses a ton of chakra, especially when used on huge objects like meteors. Onoki would often get completely exhausted after using it too much. And here's the other catch. You need to physically touch the target to apply the jutsu. So against super fast enemies, that can be a serious problem. Earth Release, Sandwich Technique. The Sandwich Technique is the most powerful Earth-style jutsu used by Kitsuchi. This jutsu creates 2 enormous rock slabs, even bigger than the Geto statue, and crushes whatever's in between. During the battle with the Ten Tails, Kitsuchi used this move to temporarily hold back the most powerful beast in Naruto. That says everything about how strong it is. The best part? You can adjust the size based on how much chakra you put in. At max power, the rocks are bigger than skyscrapers, but you can also make smaller versions to deal with groups of enemies. That flexibility makes it useful in all kinds of battles. This move also gives you total control over the battlefield. When those 2 giant rocks move from opposite directions, the enemy is stuck in the middle. They can't dodge, the walls are too big. They can't break out, the rocks are too heavy and tough. It's mainly an offensive jutsu, but those rock slabs can also be used as massive walls to protect allies or block enemy paths. Kitsuchi even used them to reshape the entire battlefield. But just like weight manipulation, it also needs huge chakra and perfect earth release control. Even Kitsuchi, a super skilled ninja, said this was his strongest jutsu and it still pushed him to his limit. Weight manipulation is easily one of the most flexible earth jutsu ever created. It lets you change the flow of battle completely, control your enemy's movement, and even turn the environment into your personal weapon. Meanwhile, Sandwich Technique is all about brute force destruction. It doesn't just hit hard, it crushes everything. No fancy setup, no subtle tricks. Just giant deadly rocks slamming into your face. Together, these 2 moves show the full range of earth release power, from clever strategy